Hey, good morning and welcome to our pre-show fueled by Monster Energy. I'm Lauren Abraham and welcome to Supercross Live on supercrossonline.com. I'm joined here by my co-host Jim Hawley, and let me tell you, here we are at Dodgers Stadium and it's a wet one, folks.
Yeah, who would have thought, Lauren, that it rains in Southern California? It does once in a while, but it's going to be hard tonight for the guys because, you know, they got the track covered right now. They're going to run a shortened practice session. We don't know if it's going to be, you know, A is the normal, and then they got B, and then they got C, where if it absolutely pours until 5 o'clock. But these guys have to get on the track at some point before the night show starts tonight. So, I mean, I think that tonight, you know, you said you looked at the weather. I looked at it. I think that the rain's going to be gone. I think they'll peel the plastic off maybe about 2 or so, and that determines on the weather. So once they peel that off, it's going to take a couple hours. Guys got to get out there, do a little track walk, and then these guys could only have one practice tonight on the track.
So they put this plastic down yesterday?
Yeah, they covered. I mean, they knew that the people at Feld and Dirtworks knew that the weather was going to come in, and this is the only good way to cover it to get the water off. But what happens is sometimes in the transitions, you know, when you peel the plastic off, the water runs to the lowest point. So right there, they're going to have a problem. Well, they'll get out here with the tractors. They'll try to put some calcium chloride or lime in there to dry out the soil. Maybe they got some dirt in the back kind of covered, so they'll put some dry dirt in it. But, you know, I've been up in San Francisco when I've seen 2 foot of water. These guys get out here with pumps. They pump everything out, and unbelievable what they can do with the track. And you come main event, you go, man, did it even rain here? You know, so they'll make it great for the guys, and it should be a great night of racing here at Dodger Stadium.
Well, it's definitely going to have an advantage for those guys from the Northwest like Ryan Villapoto.
Well, and also he won here last year. I mean, Villapoto won here along with Cole Seeley, but you'd mentioned Villapoto. He comes from the Pacific Northwest. It rains there a lot. He's used to the mud, but the other guy that's used to the mud that's won a lot of mud races, James Stewart, as well as Kevin Windham. And Kevin Windham, I know he was disappointed not being on that podium, so he's loving it right now. I mean, he woke up and saw the rain. He's happy. Kevin Windham's going to be happy tonight, but you're definitely not going to come from the back of the pack like Ryan Villapoto did last week in Phoenix in a mud race. Because if you go down that first turn, your hands are wet, your throttle's wet, your clutch is wet, your braking's wet. It just makes it hard to come through. And not only that, then you got to fight all the roost from all the guys. And it not only is hard on the riders, but it's also hard on the mechanics. The mechanics are back there right now, you know, getting the bikes ready. All the electrical components and everything have to be covered, so if it gets wet, it doesn't drown out. Different tricks they do, the air boxes, putting more foam in. They put foam in between the brakes so the mud doesn't get packed up in between the brake and the foot peg and all that. So I mean, these guys are working, and a lot of times what they'll do is on the disc, they have holes in the disc for lightness and stuff. They'll run a solid disc so they get maximum braking here in the weather tonight. But you know, hopefully it'll be good tonight.
Well, as these guys can see, the track is quite a bit different here tonight. Not only is it rainy and wet, but you know, the elements of the track are different. They have that bridge. Yeah, the over and under bridge, that's nice. I haven't seen it in a while, and it's always kind of cool, you know, as a spectator and a fan and an enthusiast, I like to see the over and under bridge. That's probably the only dry spot on the track is when you go underneath the bridge there. So, you know, different, you know, that's why when you go out to win a championship, you got to go through all different elements. I mean, last week they dealt with hard, dry, slick, a little bit of sand. Now they're going to have to deal with, you know, a muddy condition. So a lot of the guys are going to run probably some mud tires today, and maybe if not, they might get aggressive and put some intermediates on. But it'll be a great night of racing any way you slice that piece of pie. But I'm just glad to be here, and I'm glad round 3 maybe we'll have a different winner. You talked about the Supercross class. Now what about the lights class? Who are your predictions in elements like this for tonight?
Well, you know, I mean, you know, the guy who's been chomping at the bit that we've seen in the first 2 rounds, Eli Tomac. And Eli comes from Colorado, and he's used to some muddy conditions. So maybe Eli Tomac, I know he was on the podium here last year, you know, and Cole Seeley, he's from Southern California, so, but he won here last year. Anytime you have you come to Dodger Stadium, you have a win, you know, you have a certain confidence that knowing that you can win here. And I know that he was disappointed with that 5th last week in Phoenix, Cole Seeley. But, you know, there's a lot of other good guys. I mean, Tyler Rattray, you know, he comes from the MX world over in Europe, riding the MX2 classes. He's a former world champion over there, a lot of mud races over there, so look for him to be strong. Dean Wilson, you know, Martin Davalos. I mean, any of these guys can win because the mud is a great equalizer.
It's just all about that good start, huh?
It is. I mean, and we've seen that in a lot of the rounds. I mean, look what happens if you go down in the first turn. I mean, for Ryan Villapoto to work up on that podium was great last week, but look at what Dungey did. He gets that whole shot. He wins that race for KTM, the first ever in the Supercross class for him and KTM. So, I mean, you know, the start's very critical. And I talked to Chad Reed, and you know, he's struggling with starts. He says, man, if I can get a start like Dungey did, I can win these things.
Well, I guess then it's anyone's race tonight. Rain or shine, we're going to be here all day long. We're hitting the track walk. We're getting those interviews. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.